Let's go ahead and get into these second round predictions. These are the quarterfinals of the college football playoffs. The winners of these games are going to the semifinals, being the Orange Bowl and the Cotton Bowl, I believe, right?
Yep. Yep.
Cool. So let's get into the first game. Penn State looking dominant against SMU. Defense flying around against Boise State. First round by Boise State, the with the best running back in the nation. Eric, do you believe that Ashton Genty can actually produce at a high enough level to beat Penn State?
I want to say yes. I really do.
Okay.
I believe that Genty's faced a better run defense this year. We talked about it last
Oregon.
podcast. Oregon,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. We talked
Mm-hmm.
about it last podcast. He hasn't got under 125 yards all year. Um, I want to believe in Boise State, and I hate to say that. I really
Mm-hmm.
do. Man, I just think Penn State's going to be a little bit too much for him.
Mm.
I don't think it's going to be offensively because I still don't think Drew Aller's a great quarterback.
Okay.
Um, I just think that Penn State defense is going to do enough work to Madsen where he's a little uncomfortable all night, and then it's going to rely on Genty. But I hope the lights aren't too bright for him.
Mm.
I want a good game. I
Okay.
think Penn State pulls it out,
Okay.
but I don't know. It could be sneaky. That
Okay.
Boise State team is sneaky in the Fiesta Bowl.
This is true. And they're wearing the Fiesta Bowl unis from when they beat Oklahoma. So
Yep.
maybe we get some nostalgia feels, and I don't know. I mean, Genty's clearly the best running back in the college football. I love his game. He's all about contact. He's all about collision. He runs violently, but he actually has speed behind him, which he's special. He's a special player. Salute to him because he's very close to breaking Barry's record. So um, he's special enough to make his offensive line look decent. I don't think that offensive line is good enough to face Penn State's front seven. Those guys, those are high quality athletes. Those are special players on that side. Abdul
Yeah.
Carter is one super special. Those linebackers, I think Penn State's linebackers are going to have a special game. Genty may get a play or two off, but yeah, I agree, man. I got Penn State winning this game, even though I would love to see Boise State win.
Yeah.
Would love to see it. All right, next game, Eric. This is probably out of the four games we have, two we're kind of expecting it to get out of hand. We talked about one being that Boise State Penn State game. This is the other one. Arizona State, Texas. Now, the interesting thing about this game, Eric, Arizona State has a number of guys that are from the state of Texas. Arizona State has a couple guys that were, or one in particular, that was on the University of Texas and was basically given the boot. He said that you're not good enough to be here. You need to look elsewhere. So on the narratives end of the underdog, the salty underdog looking to prove a point, you got it over there at Arizona State.
Yeah.
And we got some questions about Texas. People are still talking about that SEC championship game. People are still talking about, hey, Clemson made it an interesting game for a little bit before Texas turned it up. But what are your thoughts? Who do you think comes out as the winner?
I think it just determines on which Texas team we see.
Okay.
Even in some of the wins that Texas has had this year, they've looked awful. I
Mm.
don't I don't this may be controversial, but I don't think Quinn Ewers is a great quarterback.
Okay. I
Um,
I don't think it's controversial at all. I was gonna say you said that there are times where Texas doesn't look good or special. I would just go ahead and delete Texas and put in Quinn Ewers. There are times
yeah,
where he doesn't look special.
because those couple games where Arch was running that offense, they were clicking.
Mm.
Now, granted, it was Texas, San Antonio,
Right,
Louisiana,
right, right.
Monroe,
It's lesser than
Mississippi
competition.
State,
Right.
but I mean, there are games where Ewers didn't even hit 200 yards passing this year, and it's
Mm.
like he's supposed to be a top round quarterback. I think if Scatabo can get it started on the ground,
Mm-hmm.
I think Texas might be in for some issues.
Mm.
Um, but I think Texas does pull it
Yeah.
out. I just don't think Arizona State has the firepower.
Yeah. I see this should be a fun game in my opinion because Dillingham is a great offensive mind.
Mm-hmm.
And it appears looking from the outside looking in, it appears that he has full control of the pulse of that team. Like he has those guys juiced and ready to rock. You got a lot of salty players on that team. Scatterboo is one of them.
Yeah.
That dude is walking with a chip on his shoulder 24/7,
Yeah.
and he wants to ball out. But again, it's another one of those halves versus have nots matchups. And I just don't see it where Arizona State just makes it. Arizona State needs to make it a slug. I mean, they have to make it a slugfest to stay in this game. I don't. I just don't see them having the horses behind that. Like it sounds good talking about showing up salty and disrespect. It sounds good, but when you're standing right across from some dude that's 6'5", 265 pounds, 3% body fat, a kid that's a sure first rounder, it kind of hits different per se. So I don't know. I do have Texas winning. Unfortunately, I have them covering. I think right now it's 13.5.
Yep.
So yeah, I don't really see this being too much of a competitive game, at least for a half, and then I think I think doors are getting blown off on that game, personally. Okay, Eric. Next game, Rose Bowl. The classic Rose Bowl. This is a rematch between two Big Ten teams. Controversial ending to that first game.
Yep.
A call so controversial that the NCAA had to change a rule in the middle of a season, which should have been the reason why I say Dan Lanning is coach of the year because nobody else has done that shit. But hey, it is what it is. We got Ohio State going into their rematch versus the Oregon Ducks, the number one team in the nation, the undefeated Oregon Ducks. Eric, how do you see this game playing out?
I want to say it's going to be the same game,
Mm-hmm.
but it's so hard to beat a team twice in a year. You know it. I
Yep.
know it. Um, I don't want to. I really don't want to say it.
Sounds
I gotta pick Ohio State, man.
okay.
Just looking at how they blew the doors off of Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
Now, granted, Tennessee gave them all of the bulletin board material. Goalpost in the river, Neyland North.
Neyland North. Yeah.
You know, and Oregon, credit to Dan Lanning for being a fantastic coach. He's not letting any of that get out, get
Mm-hmm.
in. We're not doing any of that. I like DJ Gabriel. I really do. And I like Johnson. I like James. I like all their big stars, but
Mm-hmm.
It's just so hard to beat a team twice in a year.
Mm,
So
okay.
hard.
So
And
you're
you
picking
know
Ohio
Ohio
State.
State is going to have a revenge on their mind.
They definitely do. They're definitely motivated. Like, I mean, hell, we talked about it a little while ago, talking about going into that Tennessee game, what our expectations were. We were already counting out Ryan Day. All the while, he's pissing off his team that whole month. Got those
Hmm.
boys pissing vinegar, showing up, ready to fight. The same
Literally.
thing's gonna happen. Yeah, the same thing's gonna fucking happen at the Rose Bowl. But I'm gonna pick the Ducks, man. I'm gonna pick the Ducks. I think that you're giving Dylan Gabriel and that offense a week off is good when it comes to the health of those receivers. I know Tez Johnson was a little banged up.
Yeah.
Hopefully he's healthy. I got some weapons on my outside. I got running backs. I got a motivated team.
Yeah.
And sometimes all it takes is for you to beat that team to say, "Hey, we got it." So even though beating a team twice, damn near impossible, history says, I think it's going to happen again. I got Oregon Ducks beating Ohio State in the Rose Bowl.
I hope you're right, man. I really, really do.
I think most of us want that to happen, but yeah, no, the way Ohio State looked, man, they looked legit. They looked legit,
I
man.
just
So
don't want to look
I'm hoping for a
stupid
big
when I
one,
go up against them.
man. Yeah, man. All right, last game, Eric. We got the Sugar Bowl down there in New Orleans, my favorite city. Second home to Suplex Dinner Club is New Orleans. Shout out to them. We got the Notre Dame Fighting Irish who took care of business against Indiana, playing against the SEC champion, Georgia Bulldogs, who are now starting backup quarterback, pride of Raymond County, Georgia, Gunnar Stockton. Eric, how is this game going to shake out? Let me know.
This is my most interesting game of the week, honestly.
Okay. Okay.
You know, we talked about it today. Um, Somebody did a poll of the ranking the quarterbacks left to play,
Mm-hmm.
and they've got Gunnar Stockton last. Of course they do. We don't know much about Gunnar as
Right.
a collegiate football player. He's only in garbage time when y'all are up, and then the second half of the Texas game where he looked solid.
Aside from that bonehead interception, that
Yeah,
almost fucked us over.
that was not a good play.
Right.
um, but you know, damn those Catholics. I can't I can't root for Notre Dame.
Okay.
There is nothing in my blood that's gonna make me cheer for old Notre Dame. I hate that song.
Yeah.
I hate that team. Last time that they were in a playoff position, they got them cheeks clapped
They
by
did.
my University of Alabama
They did.
in the Natty.
They did.
They looked about as invisible as Manti Te'o's girlfriend at the time. Um,
Just
so
preparing for the hate comments.
that's fine. That's fine. I I think Georgia's gonna win this game, and
Mm-hmm.
I think Gunnar Stockton is gonna show the Dogs universe, the Dogs Nation, whatever y'all call y'all self, um, what's in store next year.
Okay.
I do think Georgia wins by more than the projections.
Yeah.
Um,
Vegas has it 2.5 points right now.
I think it's 10 points.
Okay.
I
That's fair.
don't. I watched a lot of Riley Leonard at Duke last year.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I don't think he's got that dog in him. I don't think he's got that dog in him. He's a
Okay.
solid quarterback, but solid only gets you so much when you line it up against 11 5-star recruits on that defensive side at Georgia.
Yeah. Yeah. It's definitely different.
We've seen the competition in bowl games. I'm watching it right now. 6 and 6 Arkansas is up 21-3 on 8 and 4 Texas Tech.
Really?
Yeah, Arkansas is not a great team, but they're
Mm-mm.
blowing the brakes off these boys. The
Mm.
SEC is just different, unless you're playing the Big Ten, because that's the only other big dog in the land.
Mm. Okay. Okay.
It's hard for me to pick against SEC teams when we're playing lesser competition. No offense, Notre Dame. No offense, Clemson. You know,
No offense, college football.
a little offense. Do better. Out the same things that I said when everybody complained that Alabama was on top. Out recruit
Mm.
us. Out
That's
recruit
it.
us.
That's fair.
And then maybe there'll be some parity in college football. The transfer portal has helped that a little bit.
It has.
But it's still the SEC, the Big Ten, and then everybody else.
Mm. Okay.
So yeah, I got Georgia. This is
Georgia by 10.
probably by 10 at
Okay.
least.
Okay. Okay. Well, I'm gonna tell you, man. Watching Notre Dame, I've watched Notre Dame for the most part of the season. Um, I know a lot of people have held that Northern Illinois game up up against this team. Guys, they just got caught slipping
Yep.
early in the season. Sometimes that's what you need to kick start a special season. Um, this is a good team. I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna definitely say it. I love their running back. I said it last episode. I said their running back is special. He's
Jeremiah is
fast.
so good.
Yeah, yeah, he's special. He is definitely a special athlete. I don't know what his health status is going into this game. I think he did get hurt, and they kind of told him, "All right, we got this game. Don't worry about it." So let's get him healthy and ready for Georgia. Riley Leonard is a game changer. Um, and it's one thing about running quarterbacks against Georgia. Those are always gives that defense headaches. It always does. It never fails. Jalen Milroe had a huge game against us. Um, I mean, 2 years ago, Auburn's quarterback had a big game against us. Georgia Tech, the past 2 years, had a really good, strong game against us. The common denominator, all of them have quality running quarterbacks. Maybe not to the level of a Jalen Milroe, but good enough to run and beat us on the edge. So
Yeah.
that does concern me. I'm a Georgia fan. If this is your first time listening to this podcast, you know I'm a diehard fan, but I'm going to keep it real when it comes to the concerns on my team. Beating us to the edge is a concern. Now, when it comes to offensively, I'm not as concerned about Gunnar Stockton as a lot of other people because I've seen that kid play.
Yeah.
I've seen him play, and he's a competitor. He's scrappy. Sometimes he's a little too scrappy, where it's like, okay, you're our guy. You need to chill out. And he did that, but that kind of fired up the rest of that team in that SEC championship when
Right.
he got put in. When it comes to Georgia playing against Notre Dame, I think the 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 tale the tale of the story is going to be the line of scrimmage. Georgia has had a couple weeks off, damn near a month to get healthy.
Yeah.
That offensive line will be back and healthy. Notre Dame on the other end, Howard Cross, their best defensive lineman, he missed last game. I don't know if he's even playing this game. I hope he does because he is key to their defense, generating some kind of pass rush, generating some kind of havoc on that line of scrimmage. Their defensive lineman, what's my guy's name? Number 99. Riley Mills, number
Mills, yeah.
99. Big dude. Number
Yeah.
99, he's out. He's out with a knee injury. So I'm saying line of scrimmage on their end, they got some injuries. On our end, our guys are getting healthy. That kind of spells bad for Notre Dame and their defense. Georgia's going to be able to run the ball, get pressure off of Gunner. I think that because Notre Dame is such an aggressive man-to-man team, that's going to open up things in the second level. Expect a big game from our tight ends, Oscar Delp, Lawson Lucky. I'm looking at those guys, and I got Georgia winning. I agree with you, Eric. I got them winning by 10. So on to hopefully the Orange Bowl, because I can possibly make that trip. Orange Bowl against whoever. I don't care. It'll be Penn State, I think, according
When
to
is
that
the
bracket.
Orange Bowl? Let me look at this real quick. I might make that trip with you, man.
Yeah, I'm with it. Let's do it.
When is the Orange Bowl? It is
That
January
would be
9th.
9th. Yeah. Yeah.
I might can make something happen.
All right, we're gonna definitely talk because I definitely want to see them guys at least once more.
Yeah.
If you haven't already, like, comment, subscribe, and of course, look us up on socials at SuplexDinnerClub. And be sure to check out our other projects. We talk college football on Dawgs versus All Y'all. That's a weekly college football podcast where we don't just talk about the Georgia Bulldogs, we talk about all things college football. The Life and Times Pod, which is short for the Life and Times of a Restaurant Lifer podcast, where I have some chill conversations with some cool and interesting people that I've met in my years in the hospitality industry. And of course, check out Talk 'em in the Building. That's a pro wrestling podcast where we solely focus on the promo. We talk about the talkers, we hype the hype man, and we pontificate on the promo. It's a fun project, and if you're a pro wrestling fan, I'm sure you're going to enjoy it. If you're into TV and movie reviews, check out Four Corners Cinema with Ari and Adrian, a podcast where two lifelong pro wrestling fans review film and other forms of media that just so happen to have some of our favorite pro wrestlers. The Suplex Dinner Club family is growing, and I would love for you to be a part of it.